Good evening and welcome to Hot News, your most authoritative evening political show in the country. We are coming to you from our studios in Abelemkpe 48 Swanika Street here in Accra. We are live on Facebook at Pan-African Television. We are also live on YouTube at Pan-African Television. Those of you watching us on Facebook can share the Facebook live post for other people to also get an opportunity to watch tonight's edition of the program. If you're watching us on TV, you can send your views, comments, and contributions on our WhatsApp so text line displayed on the screen. We'll make a time and read all those out for you as well. You can leave your suggestions, questions, and whatnot on our social media pages. Just as I'll make a time and read all those out for you. But let me say a very good evening to our viewers on about 42 or 48 African countries and all of that. This is the only Pan-Africanist station. This is the only station that projects the African values and all of that. Any other station that comes in the form of projecting African values and all of that is fake. This is the only Pan-African, television in the whole of Africa, and we are also in part of Europe and all of that. You can keep your messages coming in on WhatsApp, so text line. We make a time and read all those stuff for you. Let me say a very good evening to Madame Emanuela Esau, wife of my brother Blaise Tulo. Good evening. I'm told you are an ardent viewer of this program. I say good evening to you. Keep watching Pan-African Television and for that matter, Hot News and all of that. My name is Appiah, and tonight on Hot News, we're looking at issues. We are looking at insecurity issues in the country, as well as, the issue of the health minister. The minority caucus in parliament is demanding for his resignation. What they are saying is that if the president refuses to revoke his, appointment, they will summon the president to parliament. They will use all the legal means and means to make sure that the president adhere to their cause and all of that. Not just the minority in parliament, but some other, institutions are calling for the resignation of the health minister purposely because he has breached some procurement or he has committed some infractions in the procurement of the Sputnik V vaccines and all of that. People are calling for his resignation. I've been joined in the studio by Member of Parliament for Sisala West constituency. It's in person of Honorable Mohammed Adam Sokparo. Honorable, good evening.
Good evening, man.
Thank you so much for joining me tonight on this platform. Today is your very, first edition on this platform.
Yes, thank you very much, and thank you for inviting me to his great platform.
Right.
I'm highly grateful for such an opportunity.
You were in the constituency, over the weekend?
No, not
the constituency. You
went in the region.
In the region,
yes,
all right, okay. So you didn't get time to, visit them?
No, yes. First of all, let me say a good evening to our viewers, most especially the good people of Sisala West and the entire Sisala land and Upper West and Ghana at large. Yes, we Parliament. We went on recess on the Friday to Saturday dawn. We left Parliament around 2 a.m. in the morning, and that very morning we had to travel to work for our regional retreat.
Right.
So we were in the region for the regional retreat. I go back to Accra just this afternoon.
Right. So what do you have to tell the constituents? Unfortunately, you're unable to meet them, when you went to the region.
Oh, yes. My constituents, they know that I visit them regularly. And because this is not a planned visit to the region, and so I actually didn't go there with a vehicle, and so I was immobile. I joined the Speaker of Parliament to the region, and so I had to follow him back to Accra so that I can prepare and go to the constituency, because there are several, things that I have to do there. There are several funerals, even yesterday, and one of the great community called Javia in my constituency. We lost a father, one of our uncle, and a grandfather, and he was very, very, very instrumental in my 2020 campaign. And so these funerals that I have to attend, and there are several people that really are looking forward to meeting me. And so coming week, I'll organize and go to the constituency.
Right. Right, I'm sure my Sisala people are watching. Your member of parliament says by next week he's going to be in the constituency, and so those of you who would want to meet him and all of that, he always avail himself for you to meet him. He's one of the accessible, members of parliament you can even think of, and you're glad. I would say that you are very fortunate to have Honorable Mohammed S. Akbaru as your member of parliament. Now, Honorable, our viewers do not know. About 3 weeks ago or so, you were involved in an attack. You were attacked on your way from, I'm sure, a funeral back to the constituency and all of that. Some armed robbers and all of that attack. These have added to the issues of insecurity in the country that we've always been talking about. You mind to tell Ghanaians what exactly happened?
So thank you very much. First of all, let me say a very big thank you to appreciate all those that I called, those that visited me to see whether I was hurt and all of that, those that couldn't also make it and call from afar, those that visited me in my residence in Accra. I appreciate everyone. Yes, it happened in my constituency, and on 25th of last month, yes, July, that I attended a funeral, and also I was returning back from that funeral to the constituency capital, Galu, and so I met the unfortunate incident that I met about numbering 4 young guys with arms. It was around 6:45 to 7 p.m. when the incident happened, and so they stopped it. We saw the light. Actually, we were thinking, it was a farmer that was coming from the farm.
Right.
It's the farming season. This is the peak farming season in my area. And so, approaching the scene, we realized that the people were rather out there to harm, but not a farmer as we earlier on thought. And so, we got there, and one had to cross the road, pointed the gun at us and signaling us to stop. So, I had to, inform the driver to stop. So we did, and they came closer to the car with a torchlight. All of them were fully armed, trying to look into the car. And the car that I was in, it's a tinted car, and so they could not see the occupants of the car. So one went to the driver's side, knocking at the glass of the driver, asking him, signaling him to roll down the glass. But then, because I was with my security detail, and I didn't want the driver to roll down the glass, because certainly, if he had, they would have seen the security with the arm. So that's at that point that the security would, defended us and were able to escape. So he had to he shot through the driver's side, and the bullet had one of them, and the rest had to, scatter. And that's how we got escape. From the.
So that was a very terrible, scene over there.
This is not the first time this thing happened to a member of parliament in my constituency.
That's true.
Remember in 2013, the then member of parliament, my father, my uncle, my political mentor, His Excellency Engineer Alhaji Amin Amidu.
Right.
He was also the NDC member of parliament. In 2013, immediately after the election, he got attacked. He was even shot. I think the bullets had him. And as we speak, I think, yes, they had to, he was brought to Accra here, and he was treated and discharged in Kolebu.
Right.
And so this is part of the many, insecurities we're talking about happening in the country. Every day in, day out, you hear either armed robbery attack, people causing a lot of, illicit activities happening. And me, I'm much worried about my constituency. Not because I am the member of parliament, or not because I'm coming from the Sisala West. I am worried about Sisala West and Sisala, let me even say Sisala West.
The entire Sisala land.
The entire Sisala land to the Nandom area, to the Appiah, those sharing border with Burkina Faso.
Right.
Recent times we've been seeing things happening at Burkina Faso, most especially this, I don't even know the name to call them, several armed attacks, attacking the good citizen of the people of Burkina Faso, starting from the Mali to Burkina. And because we are very close, in fact, when you just about few meters, not even kilometers away from the district capital of Sisala, that's Golu, the Leleman Hometown, you are entering Burkina Faso, and there are a lot more than 1,000 unapproved routes.
Right.
You know, people. So, and the security situation in my constituency is something that has to be talked about. I'm telling you the truth. In fact, just I think on Thursday, I was with the Interior Minister. We discussed that in detail, and I'm happy he responded to my plea and some of the things. Just I was saying this somewhere. You know, Sosala West is just like Nandong constituency, and he happens to be the member of parliament for Nandong constituency because he's also sharing border with Burkina Faso, and so we have so many similarities when it comes to security situation. The security threat in Nandong is same as the security threats in Sosala West.
Right.
And so the unfortunate thing happening in Sosala West is, as we speak, the police are not equipped. They do not have the needed logistics that they need to really combat this, you know, insecurity in the constituency. It will even interest you to know that when I was attacked, when we were able to escape from the scene, I called the police commander. At the time the call got to the police commander, the only vehicle in my constituency at the time had broken down. They could not respond to the call. They had to rely on the national patrol team that was around the area at the time. They rather came into our rescue. That is very dangerous. A full district.
Because I was about to ask that after the incident, did you report to the police?
So that's what I said. Then, so when we were able to escape, the first call I was able to make was to call the police commander to inform him that I was attacked between A, B, C, D. And so he says he was going to get his men there. Unfortunately, the only vehicle in the district at the time I was attacked had broken down.
Is it one of the attackers was shot? Yes, by your security detail.
Yes.
Was the person arrested by the police?
No, I think the police is still carried out with their investigations. So far, we haven't gotten any information, but I believe by the end of the day, because a lot of information, let me say, informations were sent to all the, health sectors, centers, chief compounds, even across the region. If anybody walks in with any gun wound, the person should be interrogated.
Now, you are a member of parliament, right?
Yes.
And this is not happening to just an ordinary person.
Yes.
A member of parliament. Have you made a statement on the floor of parliament on especially issues bordering on security?
Yes, I made a statement. The statement was ready. I submitted the statement. The statement was approved. But this thing happened at the time parliaments were preparing to rise. And normally when we are about rising, we have a lot of things on the table.
Right.
And so statements, it is the speaker, he can choose to admit a statement. He can admit your statement, but he can choose to call you to make a statement today, considering what he has. If he thinks that he has enough time. So that could not happen. But the statement has been admitted. I have the copy of the statement. But that is what I said. I went further to meet the Interior Minister to discuss the issue and many other security issues in my district with the Interior Minister, and he responded, very positively. He was very passionate about the security situation in the region in general. It is not only in Sosala West. You will recall that I think a year or two, the NDC constituency chairman of Dafiama Busie constituency was also attacked, and unfortunately he lost his life through that. There are several other situations in this district. So when it comes to insecurity, it's the entire country, not only Napa West. Yeah.
So, well, I'm very passionate about this issue because we've seen two members of parliament murdered. I'm talking about the member of parliament for, I think, Buakwa North. Is it South and North? One of those constituencies. And also a member of parliament for, I think,
Infantiman, yes.
Exactly, and all of that.
Yes.
They were both murdered in a similar situation and all of that.
Yes.
And so this is an issue of security that we must take very serious. It has happened to a journalist. I'm talking about Ahmed Swale and all of that.
Yes.
And up to now, nobody has been apprehended. And it looked as if this is ongoing and all of that. So once it has happened to a surviving member of parliament, what is parliament as a lawmaking body doing about this situation?
Yes, that is what I'm saying. And I think I made this statement somewhere that I am happy that it happened to me in my constituency. It happened. I thank God that I survived it. But I think it was a wake-up call.
Right.
If this, until it happened to a member of parliament or a prominent, let me put it that way, if there is a prominent, like either a chief, a leader, we are supposed to be ensured that things are done right. Sometimes there are several other people that are meeting this unfortunate act day in, day out.
Right.
Because, let me put it, because they are no leaders, people do not really get to hear of them. So it is time for us to take it up as leaders to ensure that security should be our first and topmost priority as leaders in this country. If our country is not safe, then there's nothing that we can do to ensure that Ghana achieve what we want to achieve. So that is why, as leaders, and I am going to look. I was with the Interior Minister, and there are several other plans. I cannot disclose some of these plans because these are security issues that we discussed. It. I spent several hours in his office, and he received me. We spoke at length some of the things that he intends to do with regards to some of these. I cannot put them out here, but I am leading the crusade that the insecurity in this country must stop. It is time for the president to sit up and fix the insecurity situation that we are faced with. Look, many people do not know, when it comes to insecurity, the number of people that are dying through insecurity are more than the people that are dying through unemployment.
Right.
And so I believe that when the security situation is fixed, any other thing becomes very easy to achieve. Any other policy that you want to achieve, you want to implement, becomes very simple for you. Because today we're talking about Upper West. And for that matter, one of the poorest regions in Ghana. I don't know if you are aware. We, day in, day out, we've been crying to the whole world. We've been trying to invest it, trying to convince people to go to Upper West to invest. And first of all, every prospective investor, first thing the person look at, it is the security before any other thing. Should I go there and invest? What is the current security situation in that particular area? Would I be safe? That is the first question the person will ask himself. Then the person will be talking about whether or not he or she will be able to break even. And so before we can achieve, we can address the other challenges, that is the unemployment, the health issues, and all other challenges that we are confronted with. We first of all must tackle the security situation, which is very, very important to our forward movement in this country. And so, like I said, I cannot disclose some of the things because this has to do with security that we are discussing. And we are just talking about an attack that I went through. And some of the things that we are doing yesterday in the region, I had the opportunity to chat with some high security personnel. They are still doing everything possible to ensure that the people are arrested. I cannot put it here because you may never know.
Do you have an idea of the persons who had attacked you? Do you think that those persons are, armed robbers, or you suspected a foul play?
I don't want to speculate because the case is still under investigation.
Right.
And I'm sure at the right time when the people are arrested, we'll be able to know whether they were out there to rob, they were out there to assassinate, or whatever mission that they were out there to carry. Certainly, we'll get to know. But for me, I wouldn't sit here to say they were there to rob or they were there to, attack me as the member of parliament, or there may be a contract killing or something. It could be any of them. It could be any of them because when we go to the scene, the normal robbery, they will start shooting warning, giving warning shot and all of that, calm down and not shouting. They didn't do that. They were calm with their torchlight low-key into the car. I don't know what they were looking for. You know. And so I cannot sit here and say either they were there to rob or they were there for otherwise. In fact, if I should say something, probably, I don't think I'm being fair to God. And for me, I leave it to the securities. I trust them. By the end of the day, when the case is finally investigated, we'll be able to tell whether the people were out there to rob or they were out there for other, things known to them. And for now, I leave it to them. I don't want to.
Are these issues that are very rampant in the constituency?
Oh yes.
Is this something that day in day out constituents complain of?
The time I go, when the incident happened to me, I heard of about 2 other incidents. One happened at Felmore. That one was a mobile money vendor that was attacked. They robbed the person, took the money around hours of 7 to 8 p.m. in the night. And there was also another robbery in one of the villages called JFC, where the person was even sleeping in his room and they came into the house, the room rather, and robbed the person. So it could be either they were there to rob or they were there to, like I said, I cannot tell. In my situation, I cannot.
Now let's look at how this government has managed issues of security in the country as a whole. What's your reaction, to that? Do you think that this government has managed security issues in this country properly?
Honestly, very poorly.
Why do you say they
security issues? We are politicians. I am here speaking as a politician.
Right.
But when it comes to security issues, we shouldn't try to bring politics into security issues. But you and I know, right from 2017 till date, the recruitment, the kind of people that are being recruited into our security agencies, people, you've been receiving complaints. There's nothing like due diligence. It's just about people, you submitting your name. This person bringing this person, these names are coming from the office of the president. This is coming from the office of the vice president, the senior minister, and all of that. Purely partisan. And security issues shouldn't be handled this way. So how do you expect such people to go out there to protect us when they are being recruited based on political lines? When they are being recruited not on merit? When they are being recruited not because the person has passion for the job? When they are being recruited just because we must get our party boys into the security service? Then tell me, if you get your party boys into the security service, they only know one thing, which is to protect their political party and nothing else. They care less about any other ordinary Ghanaian. So it will be difficult for us. So I'm not surprised that we are facing all these challenges. Look, there are several police and other security personnel, people are complaining that even to shoot, some of them do not know how to shoot.
Or how?
Of course, because if I am a party branch executive for a constituency executive and I've been recruited to go to police training school, I am at the police training school and the instructor there, knowing very well that these people, there was nothing like publication, they never advertised. They were purely brought here based on protocol. You think the person, the instructor there, is not afraid of the personnel there, the people he is supposed to be teaching? You know it. Because if he dare joke, he will be transferred from where he is. And so he will also just want for them to pass through. If it is 3 months training, they are there for 6 months or whatever. They only pass through the training schools. But for us to have the kind of training that we need to give to our security personnel, I think we are lacking.
Right.
And when you let partisan also, apart from the recruitment, even in the security services, you go there, the politics that is currently happening within the security is even more than we the politicians. I'm telling you.
If the politics is happening in the security,
openly showing their partisan position that I belong, Mr. ABCD, the blunt is maybe PNC or
do you have any evidence to prove that?
But I do not have to prove to you, but you know it. Of course, we all have security friends. We have we interact with them, and so now when they tell you things happening, So I sit down and I ask myself, what kind of country are we building for? I mean, the future generation. I ask myself, if we should start doing things today this way, are we sure 10 years to come we will have a country called Ghana? It is no longer about the people of this country. It is about political parties. That is what is happening. And every security person at the top there want to affiliate to either party A or party B.
Right.
You know. And it is something, in fact, the civil society, the religious leaders, people like your good self, the journalists, you must help fix this situation, because you are the people that can really speak. And you know the most hypocritical thing that is currently happening?
What is that?
In this country, it is you, the journalists.
What
the
have we
people
done?
that are supposed to speak, they do not speak the truth. They don't want to tackle the situation. They do not want to be seen that, oh, this journalist ABC is after us. And I don't blame you, because like you said, you mentioned earlier, Ahmed Swale, may his soul rest in peace, was doing a great job for this country. Today, where is he? He's been murdered.
Right.
Several other journalists, just few months ago, City FM journalist was beaten, seriously beaten at the National Security.
Oh, you mean Caleb Kuda?
Oh, I'm talking about Caleb. Yes, he was beaten. So everybody is being intimidated. Nobody wants to speak the truth. The people that are supposed to be speaking, those who had voices 4 years ago, all of a sudden are quiet. Some prominent religious leaders in this country, we used to hear them speak, shouting on top of their voices as though they love this country.
Who are those prominent?
I cannot mention names, but you know them yourself.
Why can't you mention
that some government officer at the time, those
people according to you were very vocal? Why can't you mention their names?
Of course, I heard is it a pastor? I mean, at the time, even had to organize a press conference to paint a certain government black.
Who is that pastor?
Alleged that some group of government appointees had approached him, offering him $1 million for him to keep quiet.
Are you talking about Professor Mate?
Yes, I think that's the name. He used to speak passionate about this country. I owned the founder of Central University. What's his name? Otabel. I am not attacking him. He was all the time attacking the then leadership. Today, where are they? Now, when they are preparing,
they are still watching animals on TV. He doesn't
watching animals on TV.
He doesn't want to watch politics.
So he's no longer in this country. He's not seeing what is happening. Is that the case? And so sometimes I, in fact, when he comes to things like this, I begin to question, you know.
But he once indicated that with a woman.
Why is he so
horrible?
I sit down and ask. So because it was about a certain precedent.
He once indicated that, look, the way and manner we are doing politics is in this country, he's no more interested.
He cannot tell us that he's not more interested.
He prefers to watch wildlife.
Then he should
watch animals on TV than to follow Ghanaian politics.
He should better come again. Then he should come and tell us that he was only doing that to paint a certain government black for his friend and
who is his friend?
It's obvious that the current president, His Excellency, the President of the Republic.
How are you able to establish that?
They are friends.
How did you know?
I mean, my side, how do I know? If I mean, all these people, they were all out there shouting, talking about fix the economy and all of that. Today, where are they? Hey, my brother. If indeed, which I know, there is heaven, and I believe there is heaven. I don't want to say it here. But some people...
What are you holding back?
Because discrimination is, look, it is bad to discriminate against your fellow human being. When you know what you were doing, you were only lying, you were only painting a certain picture against an innocent person, just because, I don't know, he's coming from a certain minority tribe. I mean, I don't get it.
So now tell me, you have been a victim of some of these insecurity issues in the country and all of that. Now, how best do you think that this issue could be resolved? You have complained about the fact that after calling the police, they were unable to get a vehicle to the scene.
The only vehicle.
To take care
I want you
of,
to capture the only vehicle. The only vehicle in Sisala West, a constituency, a district that share boundary with Burkina Faso. And we know the security situation in Burkina Faso. Yet our government is doing nothing. It's doing nothing in terms of, resourcing the security, in terms of equipping them to be able to meet the security challenges in my district. Government is doing nothing about it.
What do you expect government to do?
Of course. I am talking about the only vehicle. A constituency scattered like Sisala West. We have several other stations. There's one in Fielmore, there's one in Zini, there's one in JFC, and then the Gulu district capital itself. We have only one vehicle, and that vehicle was given to the district in 2012. Since then, we haven't gotten not even a motorbike.
But the government has always said that they have procured vehicles for the Ghana Police Service.
No, my brother, there's one thing. I've come to believe that there's something we call in marketing branding.
Okay.
And it is you, the media, they used to do that. When they buy 50 vehicles, they will come and say, oh, government has procured this number. They will even say, you people will say, oh, government has procured over 150. Meanwhile, in reality, it's only 50.
We report what we see.
Until they share, you report what you see. Do you sometimes go to count the numbers? It is what they give it to you on paper. We have procured these numbers. And you also go and report. Government says they've... Instead of you to go to the ground to find out, if you say you've procured 150 vehicles for police service, let us want to see, where are they parked? Then you go and count 1, 2, 3 to ensure that indeed they are 150. But if government will press release by information minister, government procured this so, you also go and make your publication based on the press release by the information minister. Right. You don't want to go down to do due diligence to ensure that to ensure that the information given out there, it is the right information. That is, so, you the journalists are also part of the problem in this country. Because, look, the lazy journalism today is just not helping matters. Honestly, I must be frank with you.
Is it lazy journalism?
When I say
lazy journalism,
lazy and partial journalism.
Who are those being partial?
Of course, there are several other media houses. Okay. Even when you have issues like this vaccine thing, the ministry.
We'll come to that.
Some media houses. Yesterday, I read from some media saying that Parliament, ad hoc committee cleared the health minister. Is that what the report says?
We will come to that and prove further if indeed the minister was cleared or he wasn't cleared. But let's wrap up on the issues of security in the country and for that matter in your constituency. So what are your calls on government?
And my call, first of all, they should equip the security agencies, right, and the Sisala West logistics, and also some surveillance need to be mounted in Sisala West, considering the fact that we share border with Burkina Faso, and there are several other security in terms of intelligence. People they must deploy them to the area. They should be, hovering around the borders so that they can be picking intelligence, feeding the security agent for them to act upon the intelligence and all of that. So for now, I am appealing to government. They should just equip the police. They should make them mobile so that police patrol can all the time they can be, touring the district to ensure that the people are protected. The people can go about their daily businesses in good safe. That is what I really want government to do for my people.
Right, thank you so much, my viewers. You're still watching Hot News right here on Pan-African Television with me, Justice Appiah. We're live on Facebook at Pan-African Television. We're also live on YouTube at Pan-African Television. You can search for Pan-African Television on Facebook, Pan-African Television. Like our page, share our live programs for other people to also get an opportunity to watch our programs and also follow us and all of that. You can keep your messages coming in on our WhatsApp / text line displayed on the screen. We'll make a time and read all those up. I've seen a lot of messages already. Now, let me come back to you, Honorable, on the issue of the procurement of Sputnik V vaccine. Minority caucus in Parliament, you are calling for the head of the Ministry of Health. I'm talking about Mr. Kweku Adjumamenu. Why the cause? What has he done wrong?
My brother, we are in the country where a certain president, somewhere in 2017, 7th January, said to Ghanaians that he was coming to protect the public purse.
Is he not protecting the public purse?
It is rather the opposite.
Okay, explain.
Someone saying that he was coming to protect the public purse. Look, last I cited an example. This COVID vaccine thing that we're talking about, the minister saying that at the time he signed the agreement with the middle man, he admitted, not at the gunpoint. There was no any gun pointed at him, but he said yes, he did that with the cabinet approval. He did that.
There was no gun pointed at the minister.
Yes, but
there was an explanation. He said that, look, at the time we were in an emergency.
When you talk about emergency, so if we are in emergency, as you just get up because of an emergency and start attacking you, when I'm asked, I say, oh, I was under emergency. Is that the case? Is that what the law says?
With the plea,
we have lost, my brother. We have lost, stipulated loss. Go A, B, C, D to get this thing done. You cannot at any point. Same constitution, we have rules governing us, and these are laws. We all agree to live within the laws. We all agree to work within the laws. There's nowhere in our 1992 constitution that when there is an emergency, you can't regardless go ahead to do anything because it has to do with emergency. I have cited an example. Last, I said it on a certain platform, I can't remember. When we were faced with energy crisis in this country, people lost their jobs, people lost their businesses. Everybody was affected because of the energy crisis. The time His Excellency John Dramani Mahama wanted to fix the situation, all the agreement, the energy agreement, the power agreement that NDC signed, they never said anywhere or quoted that we were going through emergency situation, therefore forget about cabinet, forget about parliament, forget about procurement authority and all of that. As a minister, you can just get up and call somebody, oh, can you get us a plant to enable us to produce more power for our country? Oh, once you are able to get us, oh, come, let's sign a contract. Is that how we want to run our country? Is that what His Excellency, the President of the Republic, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, is that what he promises? Is that what he told us on 7th January 2017? And so tell me why this person should still, if indeed, as a country, we are serious people.
Honorable,
the Honorable Minister ought to have been fired.
Now, let's take the issues one after the other. We were hit with a plague. I'm talking about the pandemic, COVID-19.
That is why
lives were involved. People were supposed to die. In fact, people would have died and all of
Are you saying that we should rather be more concentrated on procurement?
So you're looking at rules, procurement laws and all of that. So rather than looking at
what is the current state of that particular agreement? What is the current state?
Terminated.
Meaning what? I'm asking you. Meaning what? Terminated. What is the current state of the agreement? Terminated. Right? The person supplied the vaccine, right?
Some, not all.
Some. And that saved us from the pandemic. Same pandemic. Today, we got a report that within how many days? 30, I think 30 something people died. We paid 60 million outright.
But emergency situations.
When you talk about the emergency I am saying that we have a constitution. The laws are clearly stated in the constitution. Where in the constitution that we say that when we have emergency situation, forget about cabinet approval.
So should we have looked at lives?
It is only when it is about law
to go waste.
Honestly, when you don't say, look, what this current government is doing, they are not in for Ghanaians. They are in to make business.
In any case, calling for the head of the minister.
I want to tell you something. Look,
what have we lost as a country from this deal?
What are you talking about?
A letter has been written to the Sheikh, the Dubai-based businessman, to refund the monies after the committee's report.
We are talking about due diligence. Do you know that
he has said that he is refunding the money?
So if I have come to Pan-African TV, if I have stolen something from Pan-African TV, and I am being arrested, and I say, okay, I am bringing back the stolen items, I should be freed. Is that it? Is that what the law is saying? And you still want such a person to continue to be in charge of not any other sector? We're talking about health. Having been reckless this way, you're still defending him to be in charge of our health.
Don't you think that we can look beyond, or we can go beyond just the procurement infractions?
When you talk about, we can never
talk about
law
and talk about the fact that lives were involved.
You see, one thing about law, it is not about the common sense.
Okay.
It is not about the common sense. You are talking about lives involved. We all agree to the 1992 Constitution that before any such agreement is signed, first of all, must be discussed and approved at cabinet.
Okay.
Then Parliament must look at it, make their input if there are any, then approve it. All these things were not done, and because it is an emergency situation, it is only NPP government that knows how the emergency, how it is. I mean, I don't know. So what of the current situation, the third wave that we have faced with now? What are they doing as a country, as a government? Excuse me. What are they doing about it? It is not only this. You remember when this same minister appeared before the vetting committee? He was asked about the contract, the signing, the particular company at the airport. He says he didn't know.
He also talked about the fact that
he says he says he was not aware.
Yes.
And he says that there was a team or whatever. When the Attorney General also appeared before same vetting committee, he was also asking questions. He said he was not also aware. Such a person, unaware minister, should continue, my brother. If this thing had happened in a serious country, I don't think this minister they would still be calling.
1 minute, I'll come back to you
for help.
Let's open the phone lines. We would want to, find out from our viewers if indeed they are also calling for the head of the health minister over the procurement of the Sputnik V vaccine. The minority in parliament some time ago raised issues, and they could not fathom why the government couldn't have dealt with the Russian government directly or the manufacturers of the product rather than going in for a middleman, who was charging $19 per vaccine. Take note, $19 per vaccine. People were of the view that the vaccine in itself at the time, was being sold at $10 and that we're paying $9 extra and all of that, which was too outrageous for the country. The minister was also of the view that, look, if we didn't do that, lives were involved and we had to save lives. It was an emergency situation, and we could have done that, before some of these, correspondence were done, the letters and all of that, and then, the procurement, rules and all of that were followed and all. I mean, so those are some of the things we are looking at. Honorable, I'm opening the phone lines. Let's open the phone lines for our viewers to also bring out their contributions. But let me take a few of our messages. We have a lot here. This one says, "Good evening, my good panelist. Even the MP himself, when his party come to power, he will send the wrong people for employment. Let's be humble. Please don't call this line. I've asked that the phone line is opened. Let's be humble to ourselves. Never repeat this statement. I'm Hadi from Boko." Hadi, thank you so much. Is that a good practice anyway? This one says, he should, Honorable, we are waiting for you to fix the district. Honorable is not the district assembly. He's not the DC, sorry, to be embarking on a developmental project in the district. You should be holding the district chief executive responsible. Good evening, my honorable men. In fact, you people are doing well, so keep the good work for our mother Ghana. But remember, the Bible says in the book of Proverbs 29:2, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked rule, the people groan or suffer. I'm Godfred from Kukrantumi, Achim. Godfred, thank you so much. So you mean that the wicked people are ruling the country currently? It's just a question that I've asked. I don't want that to have been coming from me in any way. Good evening, Mr. Justice, and my able honorable who came to rescue the good people of Sisala West. You're doing well. Keep it up. Please still talk of insecurity issues in the district. Now, when you are even going too far, you are afraid because you may not return home safely. Nuhu in Pulima, thank you so much, Nuhu, for your message. Do you have a caller?
Yes.
Your name and where you're calling from?
My name is Imran. I'm calling from Takwa.
Do you agree with the calls from the minority and some other, pressure groups in the country that the health minister should resign? Unfortunately, you are listening to yourself, and that is giving us, or that was giving us a feedback in the studio. So if you call us, please make sure that you lower the volume on your TV set so we could hear you properly. President Dankwa Akufo-Addo is not protecting us and our money, but rather keeping money for his family and friends government, Achim Sakawa government, Buffy in a government, sword cutting government, and disappointed government. From Honorable Akpache at Inketepa. Your name and where you're calling from? Hello, your name and where you're calling from?
I'm calling from home.
Your name and your submission. Do you agree with the minority and some other pressure groups in the country that the health minister should resign? Sorry? Hello?
Yes.
So go ahead with your submission.
Hello.
So I'm sure we've lost him. This one says, awake. Men who must go. Justice, good evening. Simon from Bole in the Savannah region. Thank you so much, Simon, for your message. I have a lot of messages here. This one says, good evening, Justice. We thank Allah for life of the MP for Sisala West and East, Honorable Mohammed Adam Sukaru. May Allah be his helper at the time with the kind of parliament that we have. The NDC MPs must be very careful. Bawa Peter and Tumu. Your name and where you're calling from? Hello, your name and where you're calling from?
Yeah, I'm still in Yama. I'm calling from Selmore in the Upper West region.
Right, your submission?
Yeah, I'm from the same district as always seen. I'm still in Yama.
Okay. Your submission?
Yeah,
go ahead.
What my honorable is saying is true. So when it comes to Sisala West, Sisala Selmore, for instance, what he just said, if you look through, there are a lot of things they are facing in Selmore. The whole Selmore, also about to get a polyclinic, we don't even have polyclinic and other things. Don't go the route from the time Nama was in power. There was route, ongoing of route, time of route. But when the NPP government came into power, then I don't know what happened, and everything stopped. Insecurity and other things. You know, we are closer to the Burkina Faso, and mostly people from Burkina Faso enter into the district. They know if you go there, it's the same thing. There is not even a vehicle like a patrol car moving from Golu to Tielmo. So what my honorable is saying is really true.
Right. Thank you so much for your submission. We are so grateful.
Thank you. You're welcome.
For your time. Good evening, honorable. Is an undisputed fact that you got what it takes to lead and serve the good people of Sisala West, and no evil plan or agenda can stop you from rendering your good service. Inshallah, I have no single doubt that Sisala West will soon be a better place and your name will be glorified. Mashood in Bangolu. Your name and where you're calling?
Hello?
Right, your name and where you're calling from?
Yeah, please, this is Oboy calling from Wa. That is the Wa minister.
Oboy, go ahead.
Oboy calling from Wa.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Yes, I will thank my honorable MP for Sisala West for his wonderful submission this evening.
Right.
Yeah, but I want to tackle the issue of the health minister.
Okay.
You see, when you look at the minister, he doesn't want to tell us the truth. You know, when the minority raised the issue of this vaccine, he just said that he didn't pay any money to the middleman.
Right.
He said it.
Yeah.
Now, he said he has paid the money to the middleman, and he now wrote a letter to the middleman to refund the money. The middleman also write back that they will refund the money. So now, the first time, why is it that you couldn't tell us the truth?
Oh, sorry, we've lost him. So what he's basically saying that the minister lied. I believe so. This one says, good evening, Mr. Justice. We, the good people of Tamale, are proud of you. Keep it up, please. I really need your contact badly. Don't worry, I'll send you my contact right after the show. Try as much as possible to call this number, and you get my contact. I'll get it for you. Your name and where you're calling from?
Hello, good evening.
Right, good evening. Your name and where you're calling from?
This Fabian, I'm calling from Wa.
Well, go ahead with your submission.
Yes, I also want to make an input on the health minister.
Okay. What's your input?
Yes, if you look at what is happening about this COVID,
okay,
our leaders are basically joking with it. They play around and they are using it as a business habit. I happen to work in the health sector, and I have dealt with COVID patients before.
Right.
Right now, where I work, patients come, and we basically even lack the basic PPEs we need to work. Now, patients come around, we just handle them as normal patients because you cannot allow them to suffer just like that. You will know, all right, but what will you do? What you need to work is not available. But here comes the case where our leaders will say this is an emergency, and even the basic tools that we need to tackle it from the basis, they are lacking. Then they go to borrow money and use it to pursue their personal agenda in the name of bringing vaccines for us. Let me tell you, we work in the health sector, but we're giving the first dose that came, that's the Zeneca. Since March up to now, we don't even know whether the second dose is coming or it's not coming.
Okay.
But we are there, and you go to spend huge monies this way. With all due respect, we didn't even expect to hear that man, if he has integrity like he's claiming, he should have resigned. It shouldn't be like somebody should call him to resign. He's basically, in fact, we are not happy, to be very frank with you.
Right.
So we need the media to put in steps. And as you know, the health sector, we are never giving any better conditions to even work. Right now, you know the salary situation there. Very bad. So, in fact, he needs to resign. That one, he shouldn't just joke with it. He should resign.
He needs to resign. All right, thank you so much for your submission. I'm so grateful for your time. Good evening, Ifo Senator. No, this is not Ifo Senator. This is Ifo Justice. Please, when are you going to discuss the way forward of NAPCO personnel? Because the policy will be ending in November this year. We were not able to save any money. Let the MPP tell us something profitably, please. All right. The NAPCO issue, I'll try and then get the NAPCO boss in the studio. In terms of good governance, just trust the visionary President Danko Akufo-Addo MPP as party to deliver for the good people of Ghana. We are fixing all the mess left behind by the NDC and JDM special. Send my greetings to Honorable Vizoa Komsi and MC Adam Anita. Good evening. Good evening to you too. This one says, Openyi 80 Kaswa says, despite the COVID-19 challenges, President Nana Danko Akufo-Addo's government has generally performed well in managing the economy. I can confidently say so far, so good. Regards to Honorable Vizoa Komsi. All right. Honorable Vizoa, okay, that's all right. This one says, I am Adin, the Deputy Constituency Youth Organizer for Laura. I wish the Honorable Member of Parliament the best of luck in his deliberations and wish Allah guide him abundantly. Thank you so much, Abdin, for your message. This one says the minister should be back in the next 24 hours. Thank you so much for your message. Sir Kobe from Kaswa says, good evening indeed. Nana Danko Akufo-Addo has proven that in our time, he is biblical King Solomon and Joseph combined. All these policies are generational and same will spare the nation to the Ghana that we all have deemed of a Ghana beyond aid and arms begging and industrialized and self-sufficient Ghana. Ghana should rally behind the MPP government led by President Akufo-Addo. Greetings to Honorable Vizoa Komsi, MP for Utu Senior East and Minister for Fisheries and Aquaculture Development. Thank you so much for your message. I think I've read enough of the messages. Good evening, Justice, and to your panel. Honorable Mohammed Sakparu is speaking the gospel truth and nothing but the truth. There are no more advertisement for recruitment into the security services. Individuals now have the slot for recruitment. They sell these slots to party faithfuls. If you're not a party man but knows the gurus, then you have to get between 15,000 to 20,000 cedis before you can get to the security service. That is a very serious allegation anyway. I would have to find out otherwise. Man of hope, man of prosperity, man of vision, man of love, man of development. Good evening, sir. Watching you from Tumu. Spike. No evil plant can stand you. Sit. The good people of Sisala believe in that. That is why in you. That is why they gave you the mandate, and we pray that you continue with the good things you have for the good people of Sisala West. Thank you so much, Spike from Tumu sent in that honorable. I think we have read a lot of the messages. Still, we have a lot. I'm unable to read all. Let me come back to you for us to wrap up. How are you? You are too much. He says, honorable, you are too much. Speak to the hearing of the good people of Ghana and the good people of Sisala West constituency. I can see a lot of your constituents are really watching. Good evening, honorable. I'm Venu from Venu Iwa0, watching you live at Boti, the MP community. The country, the insecurity in the country is too much. The president just has to do something about it for the good people of Sisala West. All right, thank you so much. Let's be wrapping up. A lot of messages here. I cannot read all. But on the issue of the health minister, whilst wrapping up, if the president, as demanded by the minority in parliament, refuses to fire the health minister and the health minister also refuses to resign, what will be the next line of action for the minority caucus in parliament? Minority caucus in parliament,
I mean, I wouldn't want to sit here and speak for our leader. You know, it is a caucus and we have the leadership of the caucus. And so our next, plan of action certainly will be determined by our leadership as to which direction we should take. And so, and for me, I wouldn't be surprised if this man continued to remain at post, because we've seen several others in the past, and where the president himself has gotten a famous name for him called the clearing agent. Any other, if you bring any allegation, even coupled with evidence, still the president will set up a committee by himself you know, in the end, he will come out with a report saying that the person has been cleared.
Right.
And so for me, I'm not surprised. And this particular, you know why the minister is finding it difficult to resign?
Why?
I deep down, me. And it's because the minister was being compelled. There were several other powerful forces behind this. And it's not only the minister. I am telling you, if this thing was done, I'm telling you the truth. If this thing was done by the minister, I'm sure by now the minister would have been fired. The president cannot tell us that he knows nothing about this. The finance minister is part of this. There are several other big men at the Jubilee House that are part of this. That is why it is taking the minister several weeks for him to just heed to the call of the people that resign. He is saying that I didn't do it alone. How should I resign? Because I was asked by someone to do this. And he did it. So today, why are they telling? And the person who gave him the opportunity to serve himself doesn't even care.
Right.
And you think he knows, if he knew something about this right from day one. That is why he is not acting. If the minister is refusing to resign, why is it that the president is not firing him? If the president is telling us that he knows nothing about this deal.
We have to go.
Thank you very much.
This is a very big question, and Honorable, thank you so much for coming. We are so grateful for your time.
You're welcome.
This all time will allow us on the program. Make a time with us same time tomorrow. My name is Justice Appiah, and the show has been Hot News on your favorite television station, Pan-African Television, the only Pan-African television station in the whole of the African continent. Keep watching Pan-African Television. We're out of here.